Hello and welcome to the Woodridge podcast series. I'm David, or Dave if you prefer, from audioprojectcentral.com, and I'm proudly hosting this series which has the goal of bringing you informative and uplifting character profiles of some of the teachers, staff members and students at the school. The guest for this episode is Mrs. Roxanne Manley, who is a grade 2 teacher and, I should add, my sister. The interview kicks off with Mrs. Manley telling us a bit about the journey that took her to Woodridge and also about her role there. Please remember to press the like button on whichever platform you are using to access this episode, and do share the episodes on your social media with your friends and family. You can find out more about Woodridge by visiting www.woodridge.co.za, and you can pop in at the Woodridge College and Preparatory School Facebook page too. Mrs. Roxanne Manley, formerly
Hello.
Roxanne Pitaway. Hello, I feel like we've met before.
I feel like I know you from somewhere. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
You're from Quebec, right? Port Elizabeth.
I am. My mom's Cheryl. What's your mom's name?
Yeah, what a coincidence. Cheryl too. I feel like I've seen you in nappies somewhere before.
Oh, yes. Hey, brother. I thought it was you. How's it going?
Hey, sister. I'm good, thanks. And what a privilege to be interviewing my sister in her professional capacity. So for listeners, could you just tell them a little bit about what you do at the school and how you got there?
I started at Woodridge about 2.5 years ago. Initially, my teaching career started where I was teaching grade 1 in a departmental post. And then I had an opportunity to go overseas. I worked for a year in New York, which was absolutely amazing. I came back, did a few temp positions at various schools in PE, which was really cool. I don't think a lot of people get the opportunity to see different schools and different approaches. From there, I thought I would put a bit of a pause on teaching. I repped for a bit. I landed up back at Woodridge, filling in for one of the teachers who was overseas at the time. And I was very lucky to be asked to stay for the next year. It was a huge blessing, absolute privilege.
And I know you as Roxy Pitaway, my sister, but you are now Mrs. Roxanne Manley. Is that how your kids refer to you?
Yes, so I still get the occasional Miss P for those kids who remember me from when I first started. So yeah, just Mrs. Manley. So I'm the one who's always walking around singing and always with a joke to give or a joke to share.
So I'm curious to see if the next question can pass my knowledge, because I think I know pretty much everything about you. But the question is generally for your colleagues and pupils. Is there anything about you that they won't know? But I wonder if you could go as far as telling us something that even I wouldn't know.
I really am an open book. So the only thing that I can mention that people might not know is that I've never been to East London before, which is a bit strange. That's the only thing that I could think of.
I didn't know that about you.
Did you know that?
No.
Never been there. I visited 14 different states in America and I have yet to visit East London. I can't even deal with that. So,
can you think of anything that stands out as a highlight?
There are just so many things, truth be told, that stand out for me. And I think the first thing, when I went to Woodridge, the very first day I went for my interview, and I was met with a gigantic hug from my friend and my HOD, Nikki Patagil. It was right there and then that I knew that this was a very different school. There's so much love. It's like a family approach, and that memory in particular sticks out for me. And I kind of just knew then already that this was home. And also another memory that I can think of is that when my son was born, your nephew, before I could even blink, there were flowers from my Woodridge family right next to my bed. It really is just a family.
That theme stands out so often, and I was going to wait till the end of our interview to just give a bit of a shout out to our own family, especially Mother Cheryl and Father Larry. Just a huge shout out and thank you and deep gratitude for bringing the both of us into this world, because what a ride.
And the middle one, we're missing one.
There is a third. Thank you, Brother Chris. Big shout out. And I mentioned this ride, this amazing ride that we've been privileged to be brought into, this thing called existence. Sometimes there's peaks and sometimes there's troughs. What do you do when you find the going gets tough? What tricks or tips do you have to wade over from the deep end of the proverbial pool to the shallower end?
My answer has changed quite a bit, I think, in the past couple of years. Becoming a wife and a mother, I honestly turn to prayer a lot. I turn to people who I know I can trust and people who I can confide in and just find comfort in. Yeah, I know some people use exercise and this and that. And I think as a mom, I've just learned to center myself amongst the people who are important, especially at a place like at Woodridge. I mean, there's always someone who you can speak to. And I think it's nice that you know you're not alone.
If I may reveal this info, I don't think it's secret, but you will soon have a son at the school. So you will be a teacher at the school with a child at the school. I was wondering from that perspective, what do you think the ways are that Woodridge adds value, not just for pupils, but specifically for parents and guardians?
I was actually on the phone this morning with a mom. I could hear that she was just so surprised and also like happy to hear from me, just checking in on her child and all that. And I think as a parent, you are just constantly in the loop as to what's happening with your kid, with their development. The teachers are so involved with the kids and in their life. And I think I echo very much so what's been said in previous podcasts. When you send your child to school, your child is important. Each and every single kid, they are seen for who they are. Their interests are important. Their hobbies are important. And I know that when Huddles is at school next year, I will get photos during the day. I will get, Huddles did this today and it was just so cute and he had the best day. You're just up to date with what's happening in your child's life. As a parent, you don't really feel lost. I'm very excited to be able to call myself a Woodridge parent.
Changing focus to something more conceptual now, how do you frame or make sense of what you do as a teacher?
There's that meme that goes around. It says, I teach, what's your superpower? And I think that pretty much sums it up, because you are a facilitator, you are an assessor, a planner, and all of those things. But I think at the end of the day, you are a rock for the kids in your class. There's a big word printed above my door that says respect. And for me as a teacher, I know I have done my job when a child can go out and make good choices and just be kind and respectful and aware of their actions and their words.
If you were to recommend a book or podcast, documentary, film, whatever, what would you recommend to listeners and why?
There are two books that I would love to read again. The one is called An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. That's by Chris Hadfield. I started reading a little bit of it with my kids, funny enough, 2 years ago when we were learning about space and all that. So I would love to finish that book. And then the other one that I would like to read again is The 5 Love Languages. And I'd actually like to get my hands on a copy of the one for kids. I can recommend a whole bunch of toddler shows and stuff. I mean, Coco Melon, Pocoyo, Rhyme I think it's the Beat Bugs. Huddles really enjoys that. What's that guy, Blippy? Oh my goodness. Huddles, I promise you, Huddles will do a backflip for Blippy. I just don't get it. I think we should create like a South African Blippy.
Do you have any thoughts to conclude our interview, sister?
As I always say to my kids, and I even say it to Huddles and to my friends alike, make good choices, especially now. Make good choices with how you act. People just need to make sure that they go about their day with compassion, especially during these times. Yeah, as I say to my kids at the end of each day, make good choices.
How do you make good choices? I've got an answer to it. It's kind of rhetorical.
Okay, so here we go. This is the Dr. Philosopher coming out now. My kids don't ask me that.
You make good choices from experience, and you gain experience by making bad choices.
Thank you, Dr. Pitaway. Maybe my final should be, don't make people confused, but not don't make bad choices, just don't make people confused.
I wouldn't be a real philosopher if I didn't confuse people. It's been a real privilege and pleasure chatting with you in this format, sister.
Oh, thanks, Butch. It was an absolute pleasure to be interviewed by you.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Thanks for listening, and please do remember to share the episodes and relevant social media posts with your friends and family, and like the episodes at whichever social media platform you found them on. If you have any follow-up questions, head over to www.woodridge.co.za, where you will find the contact details for the school, and you can contact me at www.audioprojectcentral.com.